Hello world. I hope this video finds everybody doing good under the sound of my voice. I hope it finds you blessed and highly favored. And if you woke up to see today, I hope you thank God for today. And we gonna live it day by day. Hello world. Today I want to touch on the topic I chose, burned by the same flame. And I chose this topic because, I have some examples I like to make and I would like to bring them. And I'm down south. I always say from the southern Himalaya. I'm Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In Louisiana, we love to barbecue. And, before you put the meat on the grill, you gotta prepare that grill. And, we use some things that's called charcoals. You put those charcoals down and you put the lighter fluid on it and you want to strike a match or put some kind of fire to it. And sometimes when you put that fire to it, it always ignites. And if you're not careful, you can get burned by that flame. And when you burn by that flame, it's a crucial burn from the charcoals because, even after you burn yourself, it's a way you gotta like damn near just like go on a like recovery tip, because it's like when that flame hits your hand, it's gonna leave a blister. And that blister, even after the burn, it's gonna hurt. So it's one thing to get burned by the flame, and the healing process is gonna consist of that blister that you might have. And you can't bump that blister on nothing. If you even touch it, it's gonna hurt. And I chose the topic, burned by the same flame. But if you're not careful, even while you're still grilling, you might get burned again. It ain't nothing like having a multiple flame burn. And because you not only have one burn, you may have two. And, I chose this topic because it's just something about just getting burned by the flame. And then when you get multiple burns, that's even worse. And I have some examples I probably would like to make. And it was because being burned by the flame is just one way, but it's not the only way that you could get burned. We can get burned by other ways, and I have some examples about the other burn. I just gave you the example of the flame burn, but now I'm gonna give you some other examples that I have. It could be like a friend that that you normally give advice to, and he always calling you for advice, and you always tend to give him the advice that he needs, and he might only call you when he got something going on in his life. And then when you finish giving him all your time and energy, helping him resolve the problem that he might have, he might vanish. And when you might need him for something, you may try to call him and he's not available. So that's a way I would make explain as far as getting burned by the flame. And the other part of the example I'm trying to make as far as this, and when he might call you again. And he'll use you up the last time, and that he only calling you because he's trying to get answers to the problem that he got going on. And you may not hear from him again, but we may fall for this over and over and over again. And that might be getting burned by the same flame. And I chose that topic because, sometimes people can do that. And, and we can tend to know that person he's just using us up for the moment, and we can tend to lend that listening ear once again. And I would like to touch on that as far as because sometimes when you give that listening ear, he's taking away from valuable time that you have that you could probably be doing something else. So we can't just getting burned by the same flame. And the third example I probably would make is a friend of yours. And, he always call you when he need money or his finances are low, and whatever he might need you, that's the only time you might hear from him. And he gonna call you and, hey, you don't loan him money, and he never paid you back. And he call you again and you come out your pocket because you're trying to help him, because everybody try to help a friend, and he burn you again. So that's my example, as far as being burned by the same flame. Because if you help him one time, he never paid you back, and then you go in your pockets and help him again, and he never paid you back, it's like you repeatedly getting burned by the same flame. And when you get burned by the same flame, like I explained for us, the barbecue situation is like you have multiple burns now. And it's something to have one burn, but to have two, that's two blisters. Because if you know now that blister, it's something to see, because it's like you can't touch it on nothing. It's gonna hurt every time you do it, because the healing process got to take place. Because if you got burned, not only did you get burned, now you got the repercussion, and that's the blisters that you got in your hands. And now that you got the blisters, you know, you can't touch nothing. You can't handle nothing on your own without being in exceedingly pain. You know, because it's like, you know, after the flame burn, now you got the blisters. Now it's the recovery stages. So you just can't keep getting burned multiple times, because you know, like, it's like getting burned by the same flame. It's not cool, because you know it's gonna present some things that you don't really want. And like I said, I use the blister because everybody know that blister, even after the burn, it takes a while for that blister to remove itself, because you gotta let it heal. You know, and everything you touch and everything you come in contact with, it, you using your hands, or if you got burning or wherever you got burned, it's gonna be pain. And I chose this topic because sometimes we can have self-inflicted pain. That's when you know that you're gonna get burned, and you constantly try to help the individual, and you know the consequences. You know you're gonna get burned, but it's like you steady just trying to move in to help that individual when you already know what you finna encounter. That's another burn. So I'm just trying to get somebody to escape being burned, you know, because it's nothing like, you know, being burned by the same flame. Because, you know, we got to make a decision. Will we risk getting burned by the same flame, or will we tell that person no? Or because we can't repeatedly get done the same way. And that's the example I'm making, because, you know, being burned by the same flame. And, you know, I like to use another example, because, like, even with a kid, if you witness that kid to something that was hot, and that kid went over there, you can tell him hot, and he uses his own judgment, because a kid gonna be a kid. He might go over there and touch that thing anyway, and he realized that what you was really trying to tell him, that hey, it was hot. And he can see that flame, or whatever that he could be an iron or something that you finna iron a shirt with, or whatever it might be, that he know that's hot. He know he can't touch. And he can see it for the second time, and even if the child will say something like, he may move in that direction, but he gonna think on what he finna do, and he might bag back. But that's the point I want to make to people, that because, you know, we can't continue to get burned by the same flame, because we got to use our own judgment and stand down before we stand up, because we know what the consequences is going to be, because he's not going to change. It's going to be the same burn, and we definitely can't get burned by the same flame. I thought I'd drop this on somebody. I thought somebody needed it, because, you know, we can't continue to get burned by the same flame. You know, and I just chose the topic because, you know, sometimes we can try to help a person, and we can know what the outcome going to be. But we always try to tend to help that person, and we know we're going to get burned. And, you know, it ain't nothing like getting burned multiple times, because it tend to hurt us in the heart. And, you know, it might leave blisters on our hands. And when we touch anything with that blister, you know, that's pain after the pain. You know, so we don't repeatedly, you know, bring pain on ourselves, because we can self-inflict pain. So I just want to bring this to somebody, because, you know, it don't happen to me. So I just want to bring the same things that, you know, that happens to me to the channel. You know, and I just thought like somebody could use this. And I want to ask if anybody got anything from it. You know what I'm saying? I just think like, just tune into other discussions I might have, because I'm just really trying to reach people and teach people. And I just want to encourage somebody to do something different than what you did yesterday. Call somebody and check on somebody you hadn't checked on in a while. They might have to hear your voice. And I always say that the world is not centered just around you. You have to deny yourself for someone else. That's the only way this thing gonna work. And I want to encourage everybody listening in to take God everywhere you go. And everywhere you go, everybody to see God in you. And I want to encourage everybody that's listening to keep your eyes on the prize, which is Him. And be blessed. Till the next time.